Okay, everyone, welcome back. Oh, okay, we have Puroro to there, I believe. I suppose it could be Shima. I don't think it is. I seem to remember this being Puroro to, this kanji meaning island. And Puroro, well, the word Purorogu exists, and that means like prologue. There's also a slightly longer version, Purorogu, which is prologue. So I wonder if it's, a bit like in English, it's called Outset Island, isn't it? Because it's where you set out from. So I wonder if it's just playing on that a little bit. And here, of course, we have Ni-chan, which is, kind of funny, actually, because, I don't know, yeah, Ni is just the reading for, a reading for the kanji meaning, older brother. Chan is obviously a very familiar suffix. So, basically, this is, just showing that their relationship, hers and, we know who it is. We know it's Link, right? But her and Link's relationship is, like, very close. They're very close as kids. Nice goals. Are they random? Are the goals random? Got it again. Ni-chan. Bigger this time, for some reason. Ni-chan again. Okay, and here we have Yappari Koko da. Yappari kind of means like as one would expect, as I expected sort of thing. And then koko just means this place, and then da is just a declarative, which is kind of translates naturally in this case as, it is here, it's here. So as I thought, it's here. Or, less literally, as I expected, this is the place you are, kind of thing. But there's obviously a lot of extra stuff in the English, like, translation there. And then, hehe, that's just a noise, laughing noise. Datte. I thought maybe the datte kind of going up, actually. Datte. Let's get the rest of it first. Ariru mo, so that's her name. Ariru, written in katakana. Mo, that's the inclusive particle, so she's saying I as well as you. I also. And then koko kara umi wo nagameru na skidamon. Or skidamon, probably something like that. So yeah, from here. Umi is ocean. I've still got furigana on, man. I need that off. Umi or nagameru. Nagameru is like to kind of to stare at. It's like, yeah, it's a bit more involved than just looking. Or to view, to gaze at. Okay, nagameru. And obviously the ocean is the object here, so we're marking the object being nagamerud as the ocean. And then this no here is what's called a nominalizer, which basically makes this bit this verb into a noun. So it's kind of changes from here, I look at the ocean. It kind of just changes it into looking. Changes it into the, how do you say that, gerund? Is it gerund in English? So it's just a noun that you can then act upon more. Like in English we would say, I like swimming. We wouldn't say I like swim, because that just, it grammatically doesn't work. So that's the same thing. Just nagameru na Usually they would put. Usually people say wa or another particle. Nagameru no ga. But you know, she's just not. She just isn't doing that. You can omit particles quite often, and it can make things difficult to understand. As I learned from Banjo-Kazooie. But yeah. And then ski, just meaning to be desirable. Ski in Japanese, to like, is actually an adjective. So yeah, it's actually an adjective. It's a na adjective. But you know, basically she's saying I like, you know, sorry, I also from here staring at the sea like. I like staring at the sea from here also, you know. The da is a declarative. You just kind of need it. Don't worry about it. And then the mon at the end is, I feel like it's kind of girly, a bit feminine. It kind of just adds a bit of emotion into the sentence. It's a bit of a vibe changer. Like, it doesn't really mean anything, but it just kind of adds a bit of, as I said, like emotion. It just adds a bit of, yeah, emotion to it. Datte. I'll have to link Sarah Moon's video again, and you'll have to decide like which one it is, which meaning it is. But datte kind of stands in this case. It means like, you know, that's because, or the reason I know is, you know, it's sort of it's preceding the reason for, you know. Like in the last textbook, she said, "Yappari kokoda." She said, you know, as I expected, you are here. And then she's saying, you know, kind of the reason I know, you know, that's because I also, from here, like looking at the sea, right? So yeah, that's plenty of that. And then we got Nair, Ni-chan. Nair is just sort of getting our attention. Obviously she's talking to us, so she doesn't really need to do that, but it just kind of you know, piques your like interest a little bit, I suppose. It's like if someone says nair at you, you know that what they're going to say next is kind of, I don't know, really like revealing, or it's kind of, you know, it's they want to say something that they want you to listen to, sort of thing, maybe. To be honest, that might not even be the case here, but yeah. Anyway, that's what it means anyway. So, ne, ni-chan. So, you know, hey, older brother sort of thing. Kyou wa nan no hi ka oboteru? So, kyou just meaning today. Wa bringing it up as the topic. Nan no hi, linking the word what with day, basically. So, what day? Quite obviously. What day? Ka, that's the question, so that just kind of turns it into a question so that we can do a verb to it, or we can do other things to it. So it's kind of like, yeah, today, what day is it? And then oboeteru is like, you know, do you remember? We've got oboeru, which is kind of to have memorized, or to learn, or to, I guess in this case, to remember. We've got the te form of that, oboete. And then ideally we'd have iru for like a kind of a present continuous kind of tense. But people do and will omit the e. Oboete, from oboete iru to oboeteru. Like, I never say the e myself. If I use the present continuous, I never say the e. Yeah, never. I've gotten so used to not doing it, I never say the e. So you'll often see it omitted, which, excuse me, if you're not familiar with that, then that might catch you out at times, but hopefully not. So yeah, like, you know, are you in a state of remembering what day today is kind of what she's asking. And then Ni-chan, Mada, neboketeru ne. So yeah, just older brother again. These goals are making me laugh, man. They're totally interfering with everything. It's kind of funny. Mada, sort of like Mada is still or not yet. Kind of doubles up as both. Still and not yet. And then neboketeru ne. Neboke. Nebokeru, I guess, is to just be, you know, basically be asleep or whatever. Excuse me. Yeah, to be half asleep. To be still only half awake. And again, she's omitting the E. Neboke te du. And then ne, just kind of a rhetorical sort of agreement-seeking thing at the end of a sentence. And then wasurechatta na, which is wasuderu is to forget, and wasurechau would be like to have undesirably forgot. That's kind of how you express desire. We saw this in the intro cutscene. They said like ubawarete shimaimashita. Ubawarete shimatta is kind of the less proper way to say that, but wasurechatta, well, comparing it with the intro, wasurete shimatta would be the way to express that usually, but she's saying wasurechatta, which is like no different. It's not really different. I've heard that this makes it a little bit more girly, using chow and chatta and whatnot, and then no at the end here, just adding a bit of like inquisition into it. She's just sort of much more sort of inquisitive. If you take the no out, it kind of doesn't seek an answer quite so much, basically. So yeah, like forgotten, you know, did you forget? Have you forgotten? And then kill what? Ni-chan no tanjoubi da yo. So yeah, today, regarding today, you know, older brother's. So this no showing possession, older brother's tanjoubi, which is just birthday. It's just birthday. Tanjoubi da yo. And then a declarative, just saying it is, basically, it's your birthday. And then the yo at the end just kind of adds a bit of force to it. People usually use yo when they're sort of, you know, they mean to tell someone something with a kind of more confidence, I guess. But yeah, I suppose it just sort of, yeah, it just kind of adds a bit of emphasis or force to the sentence, basically. Dakara, ba-chan, sakki kara zutto ouchi de nii-chan ga kaeru no matteiru no ni. Dakara, this is basically because, or that's why, or something. So like, I guess, you know, because it's our birthday. Ba-chan. Yeah, bar just being like, you don't really see bar used on its own. You'll always get as like a suffix with it. You'll either get bar-chan or bar-san or, you know. So yeah, bar-chan, again, just kind of showing like closeness between Arul and, you know, her grandmother. Yeah, dakara ba-chan. So grandmother. Sakki kara zutto. So sakki is like kind of, it varies quite a lot. Sakki means like a while ago, or maybe a little while ago. I tend to think this has quite a time period on it. You've probably got like, you know, from a couple of minutes ago to about, I don't know, 2 or maybe 3 hours or something. Anything outside of that time range, you probably wouldn't say sakki. But I've had people say, like, you know, sakki wa arigatou gozaimashita, you know, like literally like 2 minutes after I've done what they're thanking me for, you know. So yeah, anyway, so from, you know, sakki, however long ago that is, you know, 2-3 hours, you know, an hour, 10 minutes, I don't know. But the fact that zutto is on here, zutto means like for a long time. So that does kind of give us more of a hint that it was, you know, on the long side of sakki. So yeah, from a while ago, for a long time. Ouchi de. Ouchi is house. That's a very natural way to refer to house. Ouchi. Ouchi. Yeah, I feel like ouchi's the best way. It means like a house and a household. ie, I feel like ie kind of just means the building, which isn't, you know, it doesn't have that warmth of like the word home or whatever. But so yeah, Olchi's very natural, just meaning home, and then de means, well, with de, you can kind of put it after places to show that a verb is going to be done at that place. So in this case, the verb is matte iru. Matte is, well, matsu, sorry, the base verb. Matsu is to wait. So we know that grandmother, you know, is waiting, basically. Matte iru. She is waiting at home. If you want to do a verb at a place, you basically need to use de. Yeah. If you want to do a verb to a place, you're probably going to use ni. But yeah, we'll see plenty of that, I'm sure. Olchi de, so at the home, ni-chan ga kaeru na matteiru. So, yeah, like older brother, she's calling us older brother. So at the house, kind of, she is waiting for, you know, older brother, like, to go home, basically, the returning. We've got this no again to nominalize it, basically. Actually, yeah, no, we have. Ideally, we'd have like an O here as well. That's the particle this would take. It would have an O. So it would be like, ni-chan ga kaeru no o matteiru no ni. But she's omitted it because you can. I feel like omitting it does sound a little bit maybe like childish in this case. Maybe before as well. It's sort of cutting corners a bit too much to be used properly and, you know, by like adults and whatever. And matteiru. Yeah, no, I just feel like that kind of works. Obviously, in English, we wouldn't really say she is waiting, you know, from a little while ago for a long time. You know, we would say she has been waiting. But you don't need to do that in Japanese. Sometimes this kind of what looks like present continuous, which is the te form of a verb, in this case matte, plus iru, the verb to exist. Sometimes it means that something has been done in the past. And no, do you know what? I don't think that's happening here. I think this is just present continuous. That's just how it works here. You just want to use present continuous. If she'd said like matte ita, it would suggest that their grandmother has now stopped waiting, and she was waiting, but now she isn't. So I feel like maybe it's just iru. And no ni at the end kind of is like it's kind of like even though or despite, and it kind of it expresses a bit of like regret at, is that what, not regret, but kind of a shame. It's a shame that something has been happening. Kind of that sort of thing. So, you know, obviously our grandmother, Link's grandmother, has been waiting for him for all this time, you know, and that's kind of a shame because, you know, he hasn't returned home in all that time, right? So. And then yokatta, sagashi ni kite. This sentence is kind of trailing off. No, it's not. No, it's just in reverse. Yeah, it's just in reverse. So people do this quite a lot in Japanese as well. So ideally, this sentence would be like sagashi ni kite yokatta, which literally means like, you know, it was good, I suppose, that I came to look for you. You know, we don't need to specifically say for you because that's kind of obvious. But yeah, this kind of thing of like getting the stem of a verb, in this case from sagasu to sagashi, you can get the stem of the verb and then put like ni and then kuru or iku or whatever, and it means like to go to do that verb, or in this case to come to do that verb. You know, I came to do this. Very very useful, actually, quite useful. And yeah, usually you would put that with, you know, the te form of this with yokata at the end. Sorry, yokata. So sagashi ni kita yokata, it was good that I came to look for you. But as I said, people often do it the other way round. They will say the first bit and then the kind of the other information as an afterthought, which is quite funny. But there, yokata, sagashi ni kite, you know. And then, ne nii-chan, hayaku ouchi ni kaete, ba-chan ni atte oide yo. So yeah, just again like, hey, older brother. Hayaku is, this is an adverb. It comes from the e adjective ha-ya-i. And with all e adjectives, to make them an adverb, you just change the e into ku. So instead of hayai, it becomes hayaku. So it's basically saying quickly. Quickly, ouchi ni kaete. So return home to the home. It's kind of funny, because kaeru by default means to go home. But she's very specifically also saying the place in there as well. Go home to home. Kind of funny, but you know, natural, not unnatural. Just kind of funny to a non-native speaker, I suppose, like myself. And then ba-chan ni atte oide yo. So yeah, like kind of to grandmother. Ni is just the particle you use with ow quite a lot. You don't use the object marker with ow. I suppose that would seem to be the case to English speakers, but no. Ow takes ni as its particle. So ba-chan ni atte, that's just the te form, and then oide, meaning kind of come back afterwards. It's like go meet grandma and then come back. It's like, you know, go see her and come back. I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. And then yo at the end just for force. Or a bit of strength to it. Yeah, cool. We will. How do I even play this game? Whoosh. Well, rolling's fun. That's good. What up, baby? Oh, there she is. I feel like the game just got way quieter for some reason. Omae matte tanda ya. So yeah, this is just like matte ita, which is the past tense of iru. So it's basically, it just translates into, you know, I was waiting. Then the just adds a bit of like explanation to it. Whereas in questions like no and and stuff adds inquisition. Like no and in statements kind of adds the opposite. It provides an explanation, sort of thing. Then just a declarative, just because, and yo at the end, just to sort of add a bit of like strength or emphasis or force or whatever. So, you know, I've been waiting, omae.
Hi.
Hey, she said hi. How funny. She doesn't say that in English, does she? Sa omae, kore o mite goran. I just want to do like an old lady voice. It's very tempting. Okay, so sa is kind of like now, well, basically. And then omae, that's our name. Kore o mite goran. Kore just meaning this, or these, perhaps. Probably this, actually. Kiru is to wear. And the that's the te form, obviously. Kite. Goran. Goran is kind of a polite way to say to look at something. Like people in like the like hospitality will say goran. They won't say like, you know, mite. They won't say look at this with miru or mite. They will say goran, or whatever. And in this case, kite miru would be like to try wearing something. You know, put it on, see how it fits, see what you think of it, try it out, kind of thing. But she, I don't know if this is a sign of her age, perhaps. It might not be. But I wonder if that's a sign. She's going with mite goran, which is exactly the same. You know, it's saying, you know, try wearing this. But yeah, just goran instead of miru. That'll do for that one. Hayai mon da ne. Omae mo. I've got to stop. Okay. Omae mo kono fuku o kiru toshi ni nattan da ne. Hayai mon da ne. There's a lot of like extra words here that kind of are just vibe changes that don't really have meaning. But hayai is basically fast, quick. So I think she's just saying, you know, like time passes quickly, or, you know, it's fast, isn't it, or whatever. Life goes quick, sort of thing. And then we've got mon just adding a bit of like emotion into it. And then da, which is just a declarative, and then ne, just kind of that rhetorical agreement-seeking particle at the end of the sentence. So it's kind of saying like, you know, life goes fast, doesn't it? Kind of thing. Yeah, basically that. And then omaya mo. So we know that in this case, this is written in hiragana with kanji as well. We know that this omaya is not our name. That's why I wrote it in romaji on the file select. It's pretty immature of me to do that, but I do find it kind of funny. I don't know what else to call myself. I could call myself Norki, I suppose, but I haven't. So omae mo, so you also, more kind of already or soon, or in negatives it's like not anymore, but I guess maybe soon or already is kind of what mo means. Kono fuku, these clothes, wo kiru, to wear. Toshi, which is year or age, I suppose. And I feel like all of this information is kind of modifying this. So it's kind of like saying, these clothes wear age. Or, to put it in, again, more natural English, the age to wear these clothes. And then ni natta. Naru is to become. The base verb here is naru. And ni gets used a lot with naru. That's just its particle, basically. That's the particle it takes. And this is obviously just past tense. So kind of you became already, you know, the age to wear these clothes. And then undane, just kind of, I suppose sometimes this kind of, these uns and stuff, sometimes people just use it as a way to kind of say something kind of out loud to themselves. Like if you told someone, for example, you know, I don't know, let's say you're American, right? You tell someone you're American, they might respond with like, America jin nanda. And it's just kind of saying it out loud to themselves. They'll say like, oh, you're an American. They're not asking you if you're an American. They're not telling you you're an American. They're just saying it out loud in a kind of a self-confirming kind of way. They just kind of confirm it out loud to themselves. That might sort of be what she's doing here. Nattanda ne. It could be. Anyway, this unda and stuff, it kind of has that effect sometimes. Omae mo kono fuku o kiru toshi ni nattanda ne. Yeah, it could be an effect of that. And then ne at the end again, just that rhetorical agreement seeking particle thing. Hooray! Oh man, I've got to turn off this hiragana. And, well, furigana. It's terrible. So, yeah, of course, Yusha no fuku o te ni ireta. Literally like a brave person, or, you know, hero. Not adding possession. So the brave hero, the hero's fuku, being in clothes, so the hero's clothes. Te ni ireru. Ireta. Now, te ni ideru literally means to place into the hand. To put something into the hand. Ideru is to put in, and then te is hand. Yeah, and then ireta is just past tense. So literally you put the hero clothes into the hand, or you got the hero clothes. You'll see this a lot in Zelda. You always see te ni ireru, te ni ireta and all that. And then, okay. Okay, atsukurushou na fuku da. So this first one is like atsui, meaning hot, and kurushi means like... what is kurushi? Kurushi is like... man. It's like painful, but not necessarily in like a physical way. It just means like hard, difficult, you know, like suffering-ish. Yeah, it's, you know, it's a bad meaning. You don't want things to be kurushi. That's bad. But yeah, I guess like atsukurushi with an extra e at the end. Atsukurushi would be like to be, you know, uncomfortably hot, to be painfully hot kind of thing. But we've taken the e off the end and put a so instead, which means seems. Basically changes the whole thing, the whole verb, the whole adjective into a seems situation. So seems, you know, uncomfortably hot. And I suppose once we do that, we can put na on it to then modify the noun, which we have. So it's like seemingly hot clothes, da. And then da is just a declarative. Seemingly hot clothes. Yeah, cool. Alright. Sonna kao suru mon janai yo. So sonna just meaning that sort of, basically. Kao is just your face. Basically, it's one's face. So that sort of face. And then suru is basically to do. So I guess in this case, to pull that kind of face, to do that sort of face. And then mon, in this case, is a shortening of the word mono. Surumon janai yo. I don't know really what's going on here. I feel like it's mono. And then janai is obviously just a negative. It's like it is not the sort of thing of pulling... Sorry, of doing such a face. Is obviously very literal. I feel like this mon janai is a little bit different. Had she said like sonna kao shinai de, it would be saying don't pull such a face, you know. But because she said like sonna kao suru mon janai, how does that change it? I feel like it has a slightly different vibe. It's just kind of like, well, as I said already, you know, it is not the sort of thing for doing such a face. I suppose it... I don't know really how... It's got a different vibe. Sonna kao suru mon janai yo. Sonna kao shinai de. I don't know. Maybe this mon janai is just a bit more objective. Whereas telling us not to pull a face is just kind of, you know, telling us not to do something. Whereas maybe this version is more objective. Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Obviously, yo at the end, just saying, adding a bit of force or emphasis or whatever. And then I kara kite goran. I kara, kind of, this is just saying like, I feel like kara and dakara sometimes just kind of insists on something rather than saying, because it's okay. It's kind of like just insisting. It's just saying like, well, how do you translate this? Ikara. I feel like maybe both words together are just saying like, just insisting on this bit maybe. Ikara kite goran. Oi, or ikara kite goran. It's just kind of like saying, like that's enough of that. Let's continue. Let's carry on. It's just insisting. It's just kind of maybe a bit of impatience. It's like saying, cut it out. Ikara. Cut it out. Kite goran. Try them on. 今日はお前が昔話に出てくる勇者様と同じ年になったお祝いの日なんだから。Okay, so 今日は today, お前が you, 昔話 like long ago story に出てくる. So you need the ni here because it's sort of out of that story. It's a bit weird. It's like the Yusha Summer, like the summer isn't really needed, but it's like the hero, the great hero, just showing a lot of respect with summer, I suppose. Like the great hero who kind of makes an appearance out of those, old stories. It's the hero in those old stories, basically, is kind of what detekuru is kind of doing here. It means like he comes out of the stories. He appears in the stories. He makes an appearance from the stories. So yeah, and then to here, just basically meaning with. So with the hero who comes out of those stories. Today, you, onaji toshi, same year or same age. Ni natta, you became to the same age as, with the hero who makes an appearance from those stories. Although actually I think that's all modifying this oiwai no hi. Iwao is a verb. It means to sort of to celebrate, to kind of to celebrate basically, to kind of party, to celebrate. But in this case, we've got like an honorific at the start. Some words just take an honorific more often than they don't. So we've got o, iwai, and this is the stem, iwai, instead of iwa. So iwai kind of makes it a noun. I don't know why she wants to do that, but she does. Never mind. Do you know what, actually? I feel like all of this information is actually modifying the he. God, there's a lot of information here, isn't there? 今日はお前が昔話に出てくる勇者様と同じ年になったお祝いの日なんだから. I suppose we could start from the end. We've got dakara meaning because, and this is referring back to the last text box where she said, that's enough of that, cut it out, just try them on. That's because dakara, like it's the day, I suppose. It is the day of celebration. Oh wait, no, we've got kyo first, haven't we? Yeah, so today is the day because today is the day of celebration, where you, where you became to, I suppose, weirdly, became to the same age with the hero who makes an appearance in those, like, well, not those, but in the old stories, is the best I can do, it seems. There you go. And then, ichi nichi gurai gaman shinai to. So ichinichi just meaning one day, and then gurai meaning... Gurai is a weird one, man. Gurai catches me out. Gurai, I feel like sometimes expresses like a bare amount of something. I don't really know how it does that, but people might say like aisatsu gurai wa shite, which means like kind of at least, you know, do the bare minimum of greeting people, you know, to have full-on conversations or whatever, but, you know, do a greeting at least. It might seem like a weird example. I don't know why that's in my mind, but yeah. So I wonder if it's like, you know, do the bare minimum of one day kind of thing, or gurai can also mean like approximately one day, and then gaman shinai to. Gaman is to like endure, to put up with something. This is kind of a casualish way, kind of an improper way, I suppose, to say that someone must do something. In Japanese, to say something must be done, you literally say, if you don't... Excuse me, bloody hell. You say, if you don't do it, it's unacceptable. If you don't do it, nothing will work, sort of thing. And that means that you must do it. So, ideally you'd have like a certain verb at the end here, probably ikenai, which means, you know, nothing will go well, nothing can happen, nothing can continue if you do not, you know, endure the wearing of these clothes for a day. And as I said, I don't know if that's for the bare minimum of a day or for approximately a day. So yeah, it's literally like, you know, do not endure and nothing can progress. It's kind of, again, a literal way of saying must do something. Mukashi wa ne, kono hi ga kitara, ichi nin mae to sarete, warumono to no tatakai ni sonaete, kenjutsu o osowatta so da yo. Okay, we've got a lot going on here. Mukashi wa ne. This ne, again, kind of just gets our attention. It doesn't really mean anything. Like, you could just take it out and just have mukashi wa, and then the rest of the information. But she's just put a ne in there. It kind of is a bit friendly-ish, I suppose. It's kind of... adds kind of a friendly vibe. Mukashi wa ne. You know, if you think of it like that with the ne in there, it kind of just adds a bit of friendliness. Doesn't really mean anything. So yeah, so just regarding the old, you know, regarding long ago, this day, kitara, this is kind of, I suppose, what I will call like the past tense conditional. Basically, you make a verb past tense and then you add ra at the end. Kita da. And it can doubles up in meaning. It can either mean when something happens or if something happens. And I guess either works in this case. It's like if this day... Well, if this day... Yeah, hold on. It's awkward because you've got kind of the conditional combined in with the verb. Whereas in English, we don't have that. We have if something and then a verb, right? But it's like kind of if this day comes, or when this day comes, ichi nin mae to sarete. Ichi nin mae means like to have grown into a full person. I don't know why that's the case, but it's like to have become an adult, essentially. So yeah, so to become an adult, or to be an adult. And so ichi nin mae to sareru. Oh gosh, we've got a lot to talk about here, man. Sareru is the passive of suru. And suru can mean, as it does in this case, to consider to be. To consider something to be a certain way, or to consider something to have a certain quality. And now this is the passive of that. So this is to be considered to be an adult, is what's going on. But we've got the te form because we want the sentence to continue on after it. So it's saying, in the olden days, if or when this day comes, one would be considered to be an adult. And then warumono to no tatakai ni sonaete. Good lord, we've got a lot going on here. So we've got another te form here, sonaeru, meaning to equip, to prepare, to furnish, kind of thing. So it's like to equip towards battle with evil beings or villains or evil or, badness or whatever. And the no, the no in here is just kind of needed. I suppose because this is a noun, we just kind of need this no here because grammatically that's a noun, so you just kind of need no after toe here because this is a noun. So that's kind of just a grammatical thing. It doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, so as I said, long ago, when or if this day came, one would be considered to be an adult. By the way, to is often used when suru means to consider. So to is the particle for that usually. So one would be considered to be an adult. One would be kind of prepared or equipped towards battle with evil. And then kenjutsu o osowatta so da yo. Kenjutsu just meaning like sword techniques. And then osowaru is to be taught. So if you are osowarud, you are taught something by someone else. This is osowatta, just being past tense, so meaning people were taught sword techniques. And then so, just bringing it up as like unconfirmed information. She's not telling you this as a fact. She's just saying like she read or heard or has been told, or it seems as though that was the case. And then dayo, just, a declarative, and yo at the end, just, I don't know, adding emphasis again. Demo ima wa sonna jidai ja nai kara ne. That was a weird separating there of the things. But yeah, demo ima wa. So but, demo is basically but. Now, and then wa to contrast it. Wa sometimes has this contrasting thing. So you say mukashi wa, this was the case, and then to contrast it you say ima wa, different, something else. So they're contrasting the ages there with was. Sonna jidai, sort of such a time period, such an age. Janai, it is not such an age now. And then kara ne. I don't know what kara is doing. Demo wa sonna jidai janai kara ne. I wonder if it's just kind of providing a reason for us now not learning these sword techniques and not wearing clothes, or the green clothes, or maybe why we only do it for one day. And then ne again, just kind of rhetorically seeking agreement. Daiichi kono shima de kenjutsu nante shiteiru no wa ie no mae ni sumu akashachi no ji-sama gurai shika bloody hell inai daro. Daiichi, I've got to look that up, man. I don't know what that is. Like, it's obviously, it can mean like first things first, or priority. First, foremost, number one. Maybe it is meaning that. You know, the number one person who does it or something? I don't know. Anyway, kono shima de. So, you know, kind of on this island. Because we've got de, we know a verb is going to be done on this island somewhere in the sentence. Kenjutsu, so sword techniques. Nante. Nante kind of expresses disapproval of the thing that it follows. It'll either be like disapproval or disbelief. You know, it doesn't tend to have a very good meaning to it. Not that she necessarily means this in a bad way. But yeah, shite iru, that's just the present continuous of suru, meaning to do. No wa, this is a tough text box. I might leave the video after this text box, actually, because this is getting a bit much, and I don't want this video to be as long as part 1. So, excuse me a second. Oh. Just move my chair and adjusting a little bit. Daiichi konoshima de kenjutsu nante shiteiru no wa. So this is kind of bringing up the rest of the sentence. This is kind of setting up the rest of the sentence here. The no wa here it kind of brings up the topic of the doing of sword techniques on this island. So you could kind of translate it as that. It wouldn't be very natural English, of course, but you would say like, the doing of sword techniques on this island, and then you would have the rest of the sentence. And after that, after the setup, you can sort of put any information. You could say like, the doing of sword techniques on this island has been since the 1800s, just as an example. Or you could say, the doing of sword techniques on this island is in order to protect ourselves. You can give the reason for doing the sword techniques. Or like in this case, you could say, the doing of sword techniques on this island is, you know, the old guy across the road. You can say who is the person doing the thing. So this is a very kind of useful kind of sentence setup in Japanese. So yeah, so that's what that first bit is doing. The doing of sword techniques on this island. Ie no mae ni sumu aka shachi no ji-sama gurai shika inai daro. We've got a lot in this part of the sentence as well. Oh my gosh. Ie no mae ni sumu. So yeah, this is all just kind of modifying that. It's saying living kind of in front of the house. Living in front of the house, or, you know, the person who lives right outside of our house, right in front of our house. Akashachi no ji-sama. So that's whoever that is. The old bloke, the old dude, who's apparently called Akashachi or something. And then we've got gurai, which again I'm not totally confident on here. I think it's like emphasizing that there's a lack of this happening. It's like the doing of sword techniques on this island is approximately only this old guy. You know, it's only around that level, perhaps. Hold on, got a weird pop-up. And then we've got shika inai. Shika and then a negative verb basically means nothing but something. So, and it has to be a negative verb. It's sort of saying there doesn't exist anyone except for the guy who lives right out front of our house, Akashachi no ji-sama. And then daro, just kind of, what does daro do? It's sort of, I suppose it kind of rhetorically asserts something, which is maybe a bit of a weird thing to say, but yeah, rhetorically asserts. You'll notice it's got a question mark, so it's kind of a rhetorical thing. It's a rhetorical assertion is probably the best way I can I can really say it. Yeah. Might get a screenshot actually and ask about Daiichi, because I should. Yeah, I think that might have to be it. Gosh, I don't know. Yeah, do you know what? I think that will be it. I don't want to read it. I don't want to open another text box. Yeah, that'll do. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like if you want, sub if you want. Check out the Patreon link if you want. There's a text document for selectable text and whatnot. You know, thanks to my patrons who should be listed on the page somewhere, on the screen somewhere, I mean. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you next time.